a duck on the road again. You might just see those ducklings around again if you keep your eyes peeled down by the sides of the rivers. I can see them on the right hand side, they're all on the bank. Well, there's one in the water actually.
On the left hand side.
But when the parents are sitting down on the bank, there's a few behind them there. Not more than a few days old, those. Combination of the foxgloves and the irises down here, the purples and the yellows look really good together. Opposite ends of the spectrum. You might just see there's a few derelict buildings on the opposite shore to this tidal bay just here. These were buildings used after the Highland clearances. Mull was pretty badly affected by them, and in 1821 the population of the island was about 10,200 and odd, and just 30 years later that was down to about 3,000, so that's 70% of the population shipped away. There was a group on Mull that obviously weren't able to pay the rents and rates asked of them by the landlords, and they certainly weren't able to pay the getting over to the New World, so they were allowed to build a settlement over there. And really where the village gets its name from, this is the village of Pennygale. It means penny people or penny land. That land now is used as a croft, not crofting land. Quite a lot of crofting still goes on Mull, but it's an old traditional way of life in Scotland where people are striving for self-sufficiency. So they're keeping a few beasts and growing a few vegetables. They sell a bit of an excess just to make ends meet with the things that they can't provide for themselves, such as soap powder and such like. And there's also a grant available from the government now because a lot of people were dropping out of it, but unfortunately the chap on that croft was found to be growing something he shouldn't have been growing with his grant. So he doesn't get that anymore, and he gets regular visits from the ministry to make sure he's not being a bad lad. A lot of people associate the Isle of Mull with Paul McCartney because he sang once about the Mull of Kintyre, and of course you'd be entirely wrong because the Mull of Kintyre is at the end of the Campbelltown Peninsula and quite a long way away from here. I don't think it's got any connections with the island at all, Paul, but another guy of the same industry who did was Phil Collins. He of Genesis fame. He lived in the White House to the right hand side of us here, the tall building, not the bungalow, the other one. It's called Russell Farm, and he stayed there for about 5 years when he wasn't touring or recording. And he liked it here because he wasn't getting badgered for his autograph at all hours. But those trees are his as well. All of those trees you can see to the right hand side behind the house there, they're all his. If you're from Scotland, you may recall a few years ago that wealthy people had found this tax loophole They were buying Scotland up by the acre and planting trees into them. For some reason, got them a certain amount of tax relief. Well, those are all Phil Collins tax dodge.